This is the story of the clock tower you've walked by countless times, the one you might have even climbed to take a picturesque view of your small town. But let me tell you this, that clock tower is more than a timeless piece of architecture. It holds a secret, one buried under layers of history, whispers, and eerie encounters. So sit tight, because this tale is bound to make you think twice before walking past it again. High above the cobbled streets of a quiet town stood the old clock tower, a tall, commanding structure crowned with a weathered bronze clock. The tower, with its intricate carvings and Gothic windows, was as much a part of the town as the people who lived there. Over the years, the tower became a symbol of order as its clock chimed away, marking the passage of time for the people below. But behind its facade of punctuality and tradition, the clock tower held a secret that only a few dared to speak of. It wasn't just a guardian of time. It was the keeper of something far darker. Nobody seemed to remember when the rumor started, but everyone had heard it. The tower wasn't empty. Far from it. People claimed to hear whispers from within its walls after midnight, even when the place was locked up tight. Some said they saw flickering lights up in the tower's highest chamber, long after the caretaker was supposed to have left. Rumors escalated when James, the caretaker's eldest son, went missing 20 years ago. The official record showed he had run away, tired of the dull town life. But locals whispered a different story altogether, one involving the tower's so-called guardian. Now, who or what the guardian was, no one really knew. Some thought it was the restless spirit of an old clockmaker who had died while working on the mechanism. Others believed it was something much older, something ancient, that had attached itself to the tower for reasons unknown. Whatever it was, people avoided talking about it too much during the day, but at night, that's when the real stories came out. Let's fast forward to our protagonist, a young journalist named Eliza. Eliza was known for one thing, her knack for turning legends into front-page stories. When she first heard about the clock tower while visiting her grandparents, she was intrigued, but skeptical. Ghost stories were her bread and butter, but even she rarely found truly compelling evidence. So imagine her excitement when she learned about the whispers, the flickering lights, and the unsolved mystery of James's disappearance. Eliza wasted no time. She charmed the current caretaker, Mr. Hargrove, into letting her explore the tower under the guise of an article celebrating its rich history. However, her real agenda was to uncover the guardian, and hopefully, James's fate. On a chilly autumn evening, Eliza arrived, equipped with her trusty voice recorder, a flashlight, and a notebook. As she entered the tower, the door creaked loudly, echoing up the spiraling staircase. The air inside was musty, tinged with the metallic scent of rusting iron and old wood. It seemed the stories weren't exaggerating. The atmosphere felt oppressive, as if the walls themselves were watching her every move. Eliza began her exploration at the clock's lower mechanism chamber. The gears moved in harmonious complexity, but nothing here seemed unusual. She scribbled notes and took a few pictures before ascending to the second level, home to dusty storage filled with forgotten trinkets and abandoned tools that gave her an uneasy feeling. Everything changed when she reached the topmost level, the clock room. Encased in intricate metalwork, the room was awe-inspiring by day, but unnervingly sinister by night. When she stepped inside, she immediately noticed something odd. A small wooden desk covered in freshly scribbled notes. Could Mr. Hargrove be working late? She wondered. But then she glanced at the handwriting. It wasn't his. Mr. Hargrove's shaky cursive couldn't match these clean, angular letters. One note caught her attention. A single phrase, etched repeatedly. "He has not forgiven." For the first time that evening, Eliza felt a chill she couldn't dismiss. Before she could process what she'd read, the room grew cold, unnaturally cold. Her flashlight flickered up, and the gears of the clock now seemed louder, almost deafening. And then she heard it. A whisper, faint but distinct. "Leave now," it warned. Yet curiosity proved stronger than fear. She called out, her voice trembling but resolute. "Who's there?" The whisper returned, this time louder and clearer. "You shouldn't have come." Frozen in place, Eliza gripped her journal tightly. Suddenly, the entire room reverberated with a low, ominous hum. The hands of the clock had stopped moving, and an overwhelming darkness seemed to seep into the chamber as if the walls were swallowing all light. Eliza's flashlight failed entirely, plunging her into pitch blackness. Her breaths came quickly now as she searched her bag for a second light source. But before she could find anything, the whispering escalated into intense murmuring, voices overlapping in eerie synchronicity. Then, out of nowhere, the whispers ceased, and silence took over. Not the natural quiet of an empty space, but a suffocating void. It was as though the tower itself held its breath. Eliza turned toward the sound of footsteps behind her. She could only make out a silhouette, a man, perhaps, judging by the height and build. He stepped closer until the faint moonlight creeping through the high window revealed his features. It was James, or a version of him. While unmistakably him, his eyes were otherworldly, glowing faintly silver, and his face bore an expression of both sorrow and warning. "Leave now," James said, though his lips barely moved. His voice had a resonating, echoing quality to it. "But why?" Eliza managed to ask. "What is this place hiding?" James tilted his head as if listening to something she couldn't hear. Then he whispered, "It's watching us," before stepping away and dissolving into the shadows. Eliza's instincts screamed at her to flee. She stumbled down the spiraling staircase, her legs trembling with every step. The clock began to chime, despite its earlier silence. A deep, bone-chilling sound that seemed to emanate not from the mechanism, but from the very core of the tower. The moment she burst out of the main door, the oppressive feeling lifted, but the chime continued as if to remind her of what she'd seen. In the days that followed, Eliza tried to recount her experience, but every time she wrote down the details, the pages of her journal mysteriously vanished. The notes she'd taken at the tower, gone. The photographs, corrupted beyond recognition. Determined not to let the story be forgotten, she began keeping her findings secret, sharing only small fragments with trusted friends. Now, rumor has it that the clock tower isn't just telling time. It's counting down to something. The whispers, those flickering lights, and the chilling encounters have reportedly intensified since Eliza's visit. But no one has been brave enough to investigate further, so the next time you walk by the old town clock tower, think about this story. Think about what Eliza saw, what she heard, and what she couldn't explain. Maybe you'll even see the flicker of light in the highest chamber, or hear the faint echo of voices when the world around you grows silent. This is one mystery best left unsolved. But who knows? Maybe one day it'll be you standing at the base of that tower, wondering what lies within, waiting to uncover its secret. Or maybe it'll find you first. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Daily Scary Tales for your daily dose of fear and fascination. Dare to join us again.